There you go. I do want to welcome everyone to the third cohort in 2021 Board Mentors of Color program. We are super excited to have you guys here. Normally I do this with Mondo, but he's not able to make it today, so I'm on my own. But really this orientation, we have one for the mentors, and this orientation is for you to be able to ask questions, to review the guide that was sent out to you, and also to just have you guys kind of come together and share, if you don't mind, in the chat, just kind of sharing your name, maybe even your title or where you work if you feel comfortable, and just maybe where your hometown is. And I think that gives us an opportunity to kind of really get to know each other. Normally what we have is a celebration of bringing all of you together with the mentors and have an event around it with a great panel. But unfortunately, due to the pandemic right now, we're not able to have one. However, we are looking towards 2022, cross your fingers, being that year that we are able to do that and bring everyone together, not only 2021's cohort, but also 2020's. So we can definitely expect to be, have it to be an amazing, huge crowd. For some of you guys who are maybe just familiarizing yourself with the New Philanthropist, we're an organization that helps Austin nonprofit boards become more diverse, equitable, and inclusive. And so one of the ways that we do this is by making sure that leaders of color have access and opportunity to sit on boards, but going beyond that, we also want to help leaders of color and board prospects have the strategies and the tools in order to help navigate those boards. And additionally, to be able to, just overcome any barriers that you may face as maybe being the only person of color on that board. So, it's so great to see everybody sharing here. Thank you guys so much. If you guys can just share away, because this network here, and if you've probably gotten an email from us, you've been invited to the Slack that we host, and that network itself of many mentees is a great opportunity to learn about each other, but also a great place to post about opportunities, whether it's board service opportunities, job opportunities, or just the latest news or invites to events. So feel free to join that. If you haven't received it, please email me and I'll make sure you get one. So I'm going to start sharing the Board Mentors of Color program guide. All of you guys should have gotten this. Let me know if you haven't, but I can re-forward that to you. But this guide right here is really going to be something that we not only presented to the board, to the mentors, but we're also sharing with you this year. And as you may know, the reason that we brought this program together was really for you to have not only a network and a group of people where you can learn about board service, but also how can you learn about and develop different community leadership skills, or even build and deepen community relationships. The mentors that are in this program are well, I would say, versed leaders in the community that have made change, that have sat on various boards, and in a sense have great access and opportunity. So a lot of the mentors that you'll see throughout the past years and this year, they're a great way to connect with them. And I've already seen the power of being in this program. And the mentee is normally you just have to mention you're a mentee when you introduce yourself to another mentor, and they'll be happy to want to talk to you and really help you along this journey. So this year, we're still, focused on encouraging a lot of the meetups to be through Zoom. Of course, if you and your group are comfortable and you're wanting to meet in person, that is something that we've asked mentors to just make sure that there's a comfort level behind it. You can do that, but we are encouraging for Zoom meetups for now. And of course, if it would be great if on your first meetup, you guys pan out and schedule out the rest of your three meetups together, because as you know, getting a group of 6 people together can be difficult sometimes. So again, the objective of this program is really to help you, whether you're an experienced board member, or you're just getting into the board service scene, it's really to help give you that guidance and that lived experience from not only your mentor, but it possibly could be from other mentees around you in your group on how you can, what skill sets you can build on, what's the experience you need, how can you address issues focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion at the board table? How do you learn not to, in a sense, burn bridges when you want to bring up those issues? And there are strategies to go around them. The goals of this program: every year we have 10 mentors, like we mentioned, and 50 mentees. We have a mentoring group model. And the reason that we do that specifically is because we want to be able to give you guys, in a sense, a way to understand how the commitment happens when you sign on a board. Your board may only meet every couple months or once a month, but being at those board meetings is very important, especially because you have a vote in what gets said and what gets done. So being able to commit to a group mentoring model is, in a sense, a taste of what a board could be like in committing to that type of service. So as you know, we started the program in August. We hope that you guys will complete your 4 meetups by January 2022. If for some reason, we're living in the days of the unexpected, we will extend that out to February. But at the end of the program, one thing that's very important to us is that we are going to want to get your feedback. And that feedback is important on how we continue to, in a sense, grow this program, how we continue to make it better for everyone. So just keep a lookout for that survey that we'll send out then. Moving along to the outcomes, one of the reasons also that we brought this program together is because our mission is really to change those demographics on boards, particularly in Austin. So based on this program, you'll also be invited, and you can actually join now if you feel comfortable, to be a part of the board matching program. There's no cost to that program, but if you are interested indeed after this or during this to join a board, we want to make that possibility available to you. So by joining the board matching program is how you'll get the top 5 picks of different organizations based on your interest, your expertise level, and even, how comfortable you are with a board or an organization that really hasn't done much DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion work. So if you want to learn more about that, visit our website. But you'll also be able to have the opportunity to, again, just kind of increase your knowledge sharing around navigating boards. So additional resources that we put together in this guide, this is important because I know there's a lot of mentees that we've heard want to learn more of the actual logistics behind board service, like what is the meaning of bylaws, what are my actual duties per se. And so there are other great workshops that will help you with that. Asking questions, of course, with your mentor is totally acceptable around that area. But if you really want some more guided instructional experience per se, we've put together here a list of different types of trainings that you can additionally go to. As you know, you are all required to go to the Equity Chair Workshop Part 1 only. You've been given a code to get a discount on that. That code also works for Part 2 if you want to do that. We encourage you to continue that. But Part 1 is really there to help guide you and give you strategies around having discussions around race, unconscious bias, or any type of barriers that you feel you might want to get equipped to talk about. But also it helps you understand the value of the cultural leadership that you can bring to a board. Mission Capital also offers a board essentials workshop, and that workshop is kind of what I was talking about. It's very much more the logistics behind board service, in a sense, the bylaws and the practices and even generally the different stages of an organization and how as a board member you can look out for that. And then there's Beyond Diversity. If you haven't gone to that workshop yet, it is a wonderful, wonderful workshop where you're able to really take a deep dive around, and it's brought on by Leadership Austin, but it's an intense workshop around, race, racism, and diversity, and how we've kind of come to this point based on practices and in general, just all around history. Undoing racism as well is that's like a 3-day workshop. So that's a very extensive workshop as well around diversity, equity, inclusion, and racism topics. So moving along here, if you haven't seen the full roster of mentors, here's the mentors that, we're going to be, we've had, accept the challenge, accept the commitment to be a part of this program. And as I mentioned, all these mentors have had an extensive amount of service, an extensive amount of board service, and just have been leaders in the community. So it's a quick look at what also the timeline looks like for y'all. One thing we have encouraged mentors to do is to think about having one-on-one sessions with y'all in addition to the 4 group meetings. If that is something that's important to you, if you do want to have a one-on-one with your mentor, maybe ask just, some more questions around career, network, that type of stuff, that you feel more comfortable in a one-on-one versus a group setting, just reach out to them and see if that's a possibility. I know that they are definitely open to doing that. So look at that. And as you know, there was an eligibility for you guys to be a part of this process, a part of this program. And so I will tell you that everyone's application, that everyone who's here today had a very impressive application. So we always get every year, comments around how wonderful the participants are and how, in a sense, even advanced they are within their journey. So, and here's a quick reminder about your commitment statement. It's something that we always want to, not only, we know that there's tons of mentorship programs out there, but there's nothing like ours. And it was, again, really much more structured to bring access and opportunity for leaders of color. So just take a look at that when you have a chance once more, but everything surrounding that commitment is going to be even a part of the commitment and the journey that you take on when it comes to diversity, inclusion, and equity work. So some tips for being a good mentee. So one of the reasons that we brought this together is because, one, the mentors, they have pretty tight schedules. Most of them do. So sometimes it's been a challenge to kind of get everyone together or get even sometimes hear back from your mentor. So it's not definitely something that they don't want to do. It's just most of the time their schedules are pretty packed up. So just remember that your mentor is a volunteer. We're not paying him or her. We're not in any way incentivizing them. They're doing this out of the pure, joy and interest in wanting to make sure that they're able to connect with the next generation of board members. So take responsibility for your own learning. Some mentors may give you homework, some may suggest books, and and on your own, there might be a reason why you want to kind of extend some of your learning. And that is a reason why we even provide those workshops links. Develop trust, see how you can really, we really talked about with the mentors, how we want to make sure that this is a safe space for everyone to kind of come together and have deep discussions. And one reason we particularly have done this is because we realized that in Austin, there's not a lot of places where you're able to do that, especially for people of color. So, if you can show up authentically, if you feel like you can do that, definitely see if you can develop that trust. Be respectful of your mentor's time. This is really surrounding, if you're not able to make it to one meetup, don't let it be 3 meetups. Be respectful of their time, just because, again, they're a volunteer, they have a lot going on. So just try to be as flexible as you can. And as well, remember, this is in a sense a good way of looking at how board service will be for you when you sign up for that. Set realistic expectations with your mentor in terms of what it is, that how much time you can commit or not, or when you will be out of town, or just kind of be upfront from the beginning. And then, come to each meeting with a prepared agenda. And that's really more of an internal question that you'll ask yourself. What is it that you want to learn this time? What is it that you're really wanting to gain from this mentorship? And what are the goals you want to meet by connecting not only with your mentor, but with your other fellow mentees? So being open about your needs and providing feedback to your mentor is something also that we want you guys to really activate, because they're not going to be able to know exactly what it is that you need. They all have received your applications, by the way, so they do understand some of the answers to those questions that you provided, and they have that as a backup to really get to know you. And then again, from recognizing your mentor's limitations and appreciating their support. Again, the reason that we're able to sign up such great community leaders is because they really are see the need of having a program like this. So just remember that and appreciating their support. And of course, take the appropriate risks. I think that really comes back to, the pandemic. Make sure that you feel comfortable. And if you don't, that is okay. And be vocal about that. And of course, get to know each other, have an open mind, have fun. And, this is a great way, again, that we have seen in the past years, connections go beyond this mentorship program. There's a couple mentors that still continuously keep in touch with their mentees and have even asked them to sit on different boards. So that may be a great way that, this will be beyond just this program and this cohort. We've also, heard that some mentors have asked some mentees to come shadow one of their board meetings. So that is a great opportunity as well that you may have with your mentor. I think, what is mentoring? And I'm hoping you guys all know that, but I have provided that just in case. One thing I do want to go over real quickly before we go into questions is the discussion guide. So your mentor has seen this, but we've created a discussion guide for each meetup. Now, it is really up to you and your group and your mentor to decide, yes, this is exactly the discussion guide we want to go through, and these are the exact questions that we want to follow. But this is definitely a way for you guys to kind of talk about not only board service and what your role is as a board member and all that, but also to get into the deeper level discussions around some of the barriers you may face, or how you may want to leave a legacy of changing a board and making it more representative of the communities they serve. So take a look at this discussion guide, and this is maybe where you can kind of go prepared and see and talk about some of these issues, or ask questions around some of these issues when you do meet up with your mentor and your fellow mentees. So definitely, check this out and maybe be prepared to go in with, at least this frame of thought before you start your different meetups with them. And then we do have a mentor meetup feedback that we ask mentors to do. And this is really for us to gain insights and learn about what you're talking about. And again, me and Mondo, I think we've talked about this, or I've shared this with you, or maybe I've just shared it with the mentors. We're going to try to go to every first meetup. And the reason for that is we want to maybe more deeply introduce who we are as an organization, but also just to say hi and congratulate everyone. So if you have more questions that come up along the way after this orientation, then you can definitely ask us there. But I now want to open it up to any questions you guys have. And so feel free to put some in the chat, or just, raise your hand. We're here to, in a sense, everyone maybe might want to hear your question as well. So what questions do you guys have? Anyone? Okay, Andrea, I think you've raised your hand.
Yes, I did. I think I was assigned to David Escamilla, and I emailed him, but I was just wondering what you consider to be like too much stuff in terms of documents. I mean, I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but
sure.
like if I want to send, curriculum vitae, all those kinds of things. Is it considered like too much? Because of course there are five
Sure.
mentees assigned to him, and I don't want to make him feel like he's required to read all of that, or that I expect him to read all of that. I just, would think it might be helpful.
Sure. So I would say, well, by the way, David Escamilla, he's coming back from vacation. So if you haven't heard from him, he mentioned he'll be, reaching out next week. But I would set those expectations up in your first meetup
Mhm.
or in your second meetup, right? So ask that question like, okay, how often are you comfortable, David, with us asking you questions through email? Or what do you prefer? Do you just prefer to kind of bring our questions to our meetups? And maybe kind of understand what those expectations are, or how you can manage that process from the meeting that you have, the first meetup or the second meetup you have together.
So you're suggesting not sending anything before the first meetup?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you send one email regarding something, sure, go for it. But I wouldn't bombard.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
okay. I mean,
bombard
that's what I
with,
did. I sent one email, but then I was
yeah,
thinking, oh, maybe I want to send more materials about, just about my background. But I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't do that because it's kind of an overwhelming amount that I was thinking of sending. And it might not, it just might not be the right way to introduce myself.
yeah. And every mentor in a sense has their own, when we've talked to them before, we had a whole nother orientation with them. I think they have their own way that they've been kind of understanding how they're going to manage their groups. So I would definitely wait for the first meetup to see, well, maybe he might want to have a one-on-one with each mentee, and that might be a great opportunity for you to really share your background.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I have, is there a deadline to express interest in the board matching program? I know we've had one or two people drop off right now. So if you're saying if there's interest, in the board matching program, I'm sorry. No, there's not a deadline. That is an open year program. So you can apply for that program at any point in time. There's no deadline for that. Curious about when we should hear from our assigned mentor. I emailed them the same day. Okay. Yes. So if you haven't heard back from them, we're keeping tabs on that too. We're guessing that some went away or took some time off for Labor Day weekend. So we're hoping that come next week, they will be, way more responsive. But if for some reason they haven't, you've kind of seen another week go by, please email me and I'll kind of tap in and see what's going on. How do we determine which mentor was the right fit? We have one way of, we've definitely looked at to see who's got the most experience. And we don't necessarily determine, we don't have like a methodology or anything, but one thing we do is we've heard from feedback from past mentors is that grouping people with the most experience on board service versus the least experience was something they recommended. And the reason around that was because they had seen that there were questions that were either very much more beginner versus advanced. And so there would be other mentees that would either jump in and help, which is fine, or that they felt like the discussion needed to be more around, more experience. So that's probably been the only way we've ever determined which mentor gets what mentees is really around the experience that you have on boards. I hope that answers your question. How successful is mentee board placement as a result of going through this program? I will tell you that in general, and if you mean by going through this program is if from here you could continue working with us and go into the board matching program, 100% successful. If you're thinking that your mentor is going to match you with a board to go into board service, that really just depends on the knowledge that they have of any open board positions and if they're wanting to do that. So I wouldn't be able to tell you really what that success is like. But if you do want to serve on a board after this program or during this program, again, I think the board matching program would really, we've been placing, we're up to now 14 people that we've placed on boards just this year. Yes, you can still apply for the board matching program after the mentorship is over. It is open all year round, so you can apply at any point. When signing up for the equity workshop, I was unable to find space for the promo code. Okay. Please email me separately and I'll make sure you get the discount. However, when you go to the registration page, I don't know why Eventbrite makes it so small, but right above where you fill out your name or where you kind of choose how many tickets you have, right above upper left hand is promo code or something. And it's in a very, I think, faint blue or something. It's very hard to see, but just let me know if for some reason you're not able to, you already purchased a ticket and you weren't able to use a discount code. Okay, Iman, did I say that right? I hope I did. I think you have a question.
Yeah. Hi, Paulina.
Hi.
I was just wondering if you could speak more about how the new philanthropist works after we go through the program and we want to participate in the board matching program. Like, what does that support look like from your guide? And is there anything that we should be doing if we're new to board service to like be optimizing that as we're going through the mentorship in preparation for that?
Sure. So again, the equity chair workshop is really going to help you. I think, what we've seen is give you strategies around not only how to have those hard discussions on board service, but how to be advocates of DEI within your board. And I think that's we know we can't do the work alone. It's a lot of work, right? And because on the flip side, we are working with nonprofit boards and helping create cultural shifts. And those journeys are a lot longer. They definitely take a lot more different types of curriculum and programming for board members that are really trying to understand how to undo some of these practices that prohibit from DEI thriving. Now, on your end, one thing we see is that the advocacy for DEI is super important as a board member coming into a new board. And for that reason, those workshops are really set up on how to prepare you to have those conversations. Equity Chair Part 2 is even a little bit more advanced on helping you how to become an inclusive leader within a board. And that's really going to prepare you in having strategies on how to build a better board, how to look at inclusion through your onboarding process at a board to why are we making decisions around this if we don't have everyone at the table. So a lot of strategies and characteristics on how you can be an inclusive leader. And of course, all of these strategies go beyond board service. So don't think that these just belong within boards. There's a lot of leadership circles that need DEI work. So that is one. But the board matching program is really going to with your application, we're going to take in a lot of the insights that we need to help you make the best match. From what cause areas are important to you, from what skill sets you want to bring into that board, from what's your give and get that you feel comfortable with. Are you okay with a give and get of 200, of 500, of 1,000? Based on all of these questions, we're going to find the nonprofit that would match most the likes and the needs that you're willing to bring into board service. We will then go through a very meaningful process of helping you get to know that nonprofit. So it won't be like you're matched, here you go, goodbye. No, you're going to go through, it's a 3-step process where you get to meet first with the ED, the executive director, and get to know them. We'll prompt you with some questions you can ask, even if you want to. From there, you'll go and meet some of the board members for that board and get to know them as well. And throughout the process, you'll let us know if you want to continue to the next step too. Because if you from the get-go see that it's not a good fit, we want to know. And even lastly, you will get to attend a board meeting and shadow that before you join the board. So those are the 3 steps that we've really kind of brought together to help you build a relationship versus you jump on a board and you have no idea what you're getting into. That is something we're teaching also nonprofits and helping them understand how building those relations and an onboarding process is key in making it sustainable for not only you guys, but anyone who joins their board to be interested and to give their time. So if at the end of the program, you kind of go through all those 3 steps and you still want to join that board, then of course you'll be voted in by their process and you'll join. Along the way, I think one thing that we've also made it clear is that you'll have our support. So if you ever have questions around, hey, there's I'm not sure quite what to do. There's something that came up in board and at the board meeting, and what do we do in terms of navigating through this? You can always let us know, or you can let your mentor know if you still have contact with them, and ask them for that advice along the way. So we are trying to build a network that's continuously there for you, not just once you're done with these programs. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. That was super helpful. Thanks so much for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Do you see people who serve on more than one board? I am on a working board as a new startup, but I see others and I'm interested in as well. Yes, actually our board matching program has matched a couple of candidates that are now serving on 2 boards. So through the board matching program, when we give you your top 3 choices based on your application, if you like 2 out of those 3 nonprofits and want to serve on those 2 boards, you're more than welcome to. I mean, it's just really up to you and your time commitment. And, just if you want to do that, of course, we have had that happen already. Is it possible to request a different mentor if we feel someone may be a better fit? That's a little hard right now because we started the process. Send me an email maybe, and we can talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I would prefer for us to discuss that on the side. Okay, if anyone is interested in serving on a youth-centered repro, we'll be recruiting folks. Jessica Moreno, yeah, there you go. There's an opportunity, guys. No, thank you for sharing that. I think that's great. Don't forget that those are great opportunities to share on the Slack too, the Slack channel we have. Because that Slack channel also has mentees from 2019 and 2020. So that's a great group for all the mentees that we've brought together. And how involved are other mentees who have been through this program with this program? How involved are other mentees who have been through this program? Can you elaborate on that question, Prachi?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off, Paulina.
No, it's okay.
So, like people who graduated from this mentee mentorship program, mentees who graduated already, or they just were already placed in a board, do they come back and help or interact with the present mentees? And do you facilitate some interactions like that?
Sure. Well, in terms of them becoming mentors, I mean, we can see that happening down the line 100%. A lot of the mentors we have, they've had anywhere between 10 plus years of experience with board service. So they wouldn't necessarily come back and be mentors, but of course, we always have opportunities where people can continuously get involved and be a part of the work that we do. So we've had mentees who want to become DEI consultants, and they talk to us about how they can get involved in that, or how they can in a sense even volunteer to help our organization TNP through their volunteer work. So absolutely, there's been different ways that we've had mentees come back and I think the other way has been in being vocal about the programs and sharing the news about these opportunities, for sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Will Mondo be providing tacos at any time? Well, if you guys haven't met Mondo, he's one of the co-founders, he will be providing tacos for sure through his series. So I will tell you that he's got some great series out there on tacos and everything about him. So you guys check that out. But if we are able to do this in person in 2022, I will make sure that Mondo brings tacos. I promise you guys that. And yes, you can get a copy of your application. Just email me with that and I'll make sure you get that as well. Any other questions? No more
How
hands.
did you do the matching with mentors? Did they pick us or was it random?
You know, I think some of it was based on their expertise and you know, for example, we've had mentors that are in the health, you know, industry, and then through your application and the answers, maybe something you've kind of guided us to understand how you are all about health equity or health diversity. So we would have made the match in that way. Some of it could have been in just, you know, just your interest again and where you are in your journey. I think some of the mentors that have had the most experience are being matched with the mentees that have also the most experience, because I think there's a lot, there's going to be some great discussions there. But regardless, all of our mentors, I think, are definitely equipped to have a great discussion with each and every one of y'all. Feel free as well to, and I can share with you guys, let me know if you want to connect with a different mentor outside of your own group mentoring, and I can make that introduction. So that is not a problem. If this is not if you weren't set up with the mentor that you wanted, that doesn't mean that you don't get to be introduced to maybe the mentor you were looking at to be a part of with that group. So I know that they are more than willing to be in the space to help everyone. So let me know. So once we graduate from this program, are we then placed in a database for nonprofits to review? Once you graduate from this program, if you're wanting to serve on a nonprofit board, you will then apply to the board matching program. We do not place any of your information anywhere for nonprofits to review. We don't do that practice at all. Your information is private unless you want to get matched with somebody. Otherwise, nonprofits do not have any access to you in that way. So once we graduate from the program, are we then placed in a database? I did read that. I think it's just on here twice. Will Slack be the main way that we will communicate with other members of the cohort, or will there be additional follow-up networking opportunities for us to get to know each other as mentees outside of our mentor groups? Slack for now is that possibility. One thing that we'll share is that whenever we have a speaker series, we used to have these before the pandemic a lot. We're trying to work on that, but sometimes I feel like Zoom fatigue is taken over and it's harder to bring people together on Zoom. But when we have, in a sense, these speaker series where we've had Van Jones before come and do a quick session for us, or we've had Janae Ingram, co-founder of the Women's March. When we have those speaker series come back up to live, we invite firsthand our mentees first, because you guys have participated in our programming, so you get, in a sense, exclusive access firsthand. So I think that's a great place for you guys where you are, will you be continuing to network with each other? And we're trying to still do that virtually this year. So I will let you know more about that as that comes along. So I think that's where either through email or through Slack, you'll get to see more of those opportunities. But for now, Slack is really the only way that we're providing for everyone to kind of get together and know each other. Any other questions, guys? All right, well, I want to let you guys know that we're super excited for all of you. We're super happy to have you. And I personally am so looking forward to having you guys continue your journey into board service. I'm pretty sure you guys know more than ever now you're needed to sit on nonprofit boards to make a difference and to represent those communities and really to bring your level up, in a sense, your community involvement through this type of community volunteering. I will tell you that me growing up, I wasn't aware of board service. It wasn't something that was passed down to me through my mom or dad having a seat on a board, and it was just like I was inheriting a board seat. So to me, it felt like a very wealthy white space that I wasn't included in. So for this to be an opportunity for y'all to really kind of get to know what board service is like and how you can, really make a difference in that space. I'm just happy to have all y'all as part of this program, and I'm just excited for how we're going to continue to change the landscape in the nonprofit sector. So again, if there aren't any other questions, if you do have some more that come along the way, email us. But if there aren't any other questions, we can end a little early. And please, just get to know your mentors, have a great time, and get to really, see everyone's journey and path in this is so exciting to me, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from each other. But thank you for coming today. Thank you for making the time, and we will be in touch soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.